Yo, what's up? This is The Edge. Welcome to another episode of Create the Life Podcast. We like to do everything based on these 5 pillars: mindset, self-mastery, financial freedom, community networking, and also lifestyle leisure. And today I have one of my partners, one of my player partners that's been around me for a long time. We rip and run. We actually supposed to have started this podcast together, but he want to go to jail and shit. So, but now my man free. He fresh, still on parole. He on papers, wide open. Now we can get back outside like we've been. Travel the country, travel the world. You know, because anytime we go somewhere, it was always us. And now everything's back on track. This Clem Portis from, I can't say the Redskins. I got to say the Commanders. But he played in Denver.
For the Redskins, man.
He played. It's the Commanders.
I played for the Redskins.
Well, we got Clint Portis from the Washington Redskins, a.k.a. the Commanders. Man, welcome to Create a Life Podcast, my boy.
Appreciate it, man. Always appreciate it. You got a good thing going on here. So,
we appreciate you coming on. You know, we've been saying we're gonna do this, and now we get a chance to link up, and we're here right now. You know, and you start thinking about football, you know, football in general, and we're both football players. We played in a different era. You know, there's different running backs, there's different style of play, the game as a whole. You know, let's go back to the University of Miami. When you look at the University of Miami, what's your view on the state of the program?
So I look at the U, and I think where they are with this transfer portal, the talent they're bringing in, getting the opportunity to get Cam Ward, who's been awesome for the program. What Mario is doing is kind of reestablishing dominance in South Florida, which I don't know why we ever got away from. I think that's something we should have always had. If you look back at the rosters that we were on, it was 85% Florida and then 15% from elsewhere. And, you know, I think we kind of lost that. So dominating South Florida again, dominating the state of Florida, I think is a big help. Then when you look at this transfer portal, going out to get the best available, you know, the running back coming in from the running back coming in and coming through the
Oregon
portal
State.
From Oregon State. I think that was a huge pickup. The receiver from Houston. So when you add these guys to a roster that already had talent, you're just kind of filling the void. So I think it's a good thing. It's just hard because you have so many guys departing. You know, for us, I think the camaraderie for everybody to get to know each other, you know, something that you all started and we continue to build on, like the hangover from the guys you played with to what they showed and taught us for us to carry it to a championship. You know, that didn't just start in 2001. I think the confidence came back after you all beat UCLA and realized, hey, we have something. And then, you know, the next year we go on to beat Georgia Tech in a January 1 bowl. Then we beat Florida in the Sugar Bowl, then the national championship. So I think it was the camaraderie that came, the hard work that everybody put in for all the guys to be comfortable with one another to finally say, hey, you know what, man, this is our moment, this is our turn. So I think with that portal, it's hard because guys got a year. And it's like they in for self. You got a year of school left and you're in the transfer portal. That's kind of for self. You know, you're not going nowhere like, oh, I'm building a team. I'm trying to get to the league, you know. So I think the mindset is different. Can it be done? We shall see.
Yeah, but that's when I look at it, you know, when I look at the transfer portal, you know, you have mixed feelings. You know, you're happy for the kids that's actually able to actually capitalize off of their talents financially. But then for the program, you know, where is this program headed? You're talking about, we're coming from an era where you built this thing and everybody kind of gelled together. You got a new person coming in. How do you maintain that, or how do you stay to where like this my partner? You know, how do you deal with something like that when it's a new guy that you just met, and you really don't know all. You just this guy coming in because of his talents.
It's hard because, like you said, I think if you look at the U was built off bonds. If you look at the Michael Irvin and Warren Sapp and Ray, the Ed Reeds, if you look at the guys that had a lot of success, you can name a guy that was next to him. Ed, you look at Reggie, Warren, you looking at Ray, you looking at Mike. Like, all these guys built something. So when you get guys come in now and they're kind of, you give them the keys because they come in and their addition is the fit that you needed. You just turn the keys over to them. I think it's hard for a lot of the guys that was there that feel like, man, I've been out here grinding, I've been putting this work in, and you just skip over me to go and get the best available. So it can kind of create a friction upon the team. But at the same time, if they're replacing you, you're not doing what you were supposed to be doing. You're not doing what you was asked to do. So a lot of these guys be in their feelings. And I think a lot of these guys move around too early. When you look at that transfer portal, I think the NCAA should find a way to cap it to say, you got to have a destination before you jump in the portal. Because a lot of these kids jump in the portal and they don't get picked up.
But but then it goes to where you said if you got to have a destination, that means there's tampering. That means you already was making moves. So I don't think that would even fly because of the fact that
it's tampering anyway.
But I'm just saying. So now you're saying, okay, go ahead and tamper with the guys. I think there's always going to be something like a rebuttal to any move because it's so new, and hopefully they find some kind of happy medium because these kids, I think they're moving around too fast. I think they run too fast, and for me, like now when I see a kid that went to 2-3 high schools, I already know what to expect when they go to college.
When you look at these kids, for the kids, you're talking about high school, everyone is going to best fit. Like, what fits me? Where can I win this year? And that's what makes it so hard. So when it comes on the college level, it's more exposed, it's more open to society, and we get an opportunity to place an opinion upon a kid that we haven't seen. And so many of these kids are on the move that they don't get the opportunity to realize what their talent is. Often you see the little digging where it's showing you a man been digging forever and he's this close to finding gold. Right. If he strike one or two more times, it's gold behind it. But you start over and you got to dig all over again. So I think that's the situation a lot of these kids end up in, is that they're so close to being there and they just got to get over the hump, and it makes me think back to the running backs room. It makes me think back to coming to the University of Miami and you being the lead dog and me feeling like, man, I'm the lead dog, right. A conversation we had, but James felt like he was the lead dog and Najee felt like he was the lead dog. And then the situation happens to me where Willis and Frank come in. So if we were afraid of competition, all of us would have ran, but I think that's what made us so good because we were willing to compete. Everybody felt like, nah, man, I'm going to get my moment. And then we had a great leader in Coach Solinger who gave you the expectations and told you where you were. It wasn't hidden. It wasn't, oh, well, I don't know if my coach liked me. I don't know how my coach feel about me. It was straight up. This is how it is. This is where you at. If you're not doing it, I'm going to put Frank in. If he's not doing it, I'm going to put Willis in. So it was just one of those situations where I don't think kids compete enough. Everybody is friends. Everybody is kind of giving, soon as someone come in, like, oh, they're so good. Like, man, you got to show me, like you got to go out and dog me or I got to go out and dog you before you get the respect. And that's the issue. No one is competing. You don't get the opportunity to respect your teammate. Whereas for our teams, it was respect. I could look over in the receivers room, Tanner, Dre, Reggie. It was respect. You can look at the tight ends, Bubba, Shockey, Kellen. It was respect. You knew how those guys was working, especially when you look at the defense. You see Vilma, you see Nate Webster, you see Dan Morgan, those guys that you competed against on a daily. So for me, it was all about competition. I think that's missing.
Yeah, I think these kids, they kind of run too much or they think things are supposed to be handed to them. But that's what make being a top pick, becoming a first rounder, becoming a Hall of Famer, that's what make it so special because right now, everybody's going to run, but the dog's going to stand right there and fight, and that's what you have to look for in these kids. And then so now you've been there, done that. Now you got two sons, highly recruited. You know, they're gonna get people pulling for them, pulling to get them to come to their school, you know, with this whole NIL thing. And for you personally, like, what approach are you going to take with that, knowing that, okay, you may get more money over here than over in another spot? What's the mindset of a father that's been there, done that, had that dog mentality, but, you know, it's business too?
You know, I think when you approach it with the kids, you got to address them on the level they're on, because they're not on the same level. You know, Cam is turned up. Cam is turned all the way up, and he's an upcoming junior, and he got the offers. He got the opportunity. People chasing him. You know, the attention is coming. So it's totally different than Chaz. You know, you look at Chaz, and Chaz is a work in progress, but he's grown so much over the process. You know, you could look at where he started and where he is now, and it's like, man, I can't wait for the world to see Chaz so he can get his just due as Cam is getting his. But Cam put in the work. So when you look at it and you're looking at these schools, to me, it's one of those situations that feel like, because I've been through it, because I've seen it, I sit back and try to watch and monitor them to see what they're looking for, to see the excitement, to see what comes behind it, the relationship they build. And I think the main thing to tell them is, bro, I don't want to do this. We're skipping around. We're jumping around. You know, we had to do this for high school for unfortunate situation. You know, just it wasn't the right fit. So you're doing the high school, not chasing, we're chasing an opportunity. It was just, this wasn't the fit, you know. And then when you get to college, I don't want this to be a constant where you think, oh, if it doesn't work here, we're moving on here. Like, wherever you go to school at, you need to make it work, you know. Like,
right.
We need to make that work. You need to have a relationship. I think the coach need to be in play at least for the next 2 or 3 years, to say, you know what, this coach is locked in. You know, this coach is going to be around. This is probably going to be his staff. Not that this is a man that's looking to go to the NFL or looking for the next opportunity, or maybe this is a person that's on the hot seat about to get fired. So, you know, for the things that I don't think they would be paying attention to, that's what my input would be, because I kind of want it to be open to, you choose your school. You know, that's where you want to go. That might be where you want to live at for good. That might be where you want to start your family. So that fit needs to be for you. It was like, for me, thinking, oh, man, University of Maryland is, I can take over. But I got to the University of Miami, and I said, you know what, these dudes just like me. Like, I fit in this locker room.
Right.
This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I belong. So I know it's going to be different for them to get that fit, because today's kids pay so much attention to the names. You know, like, oh, he go here. And, you know, they're so afraid, or they're so excited about the name instead of the work the guys are putting in. So, you know, just giving them opportunities to compete all the time and grow. Like, you need to be around other dogs. You can't be the big man on the team. You need to be around somebody to learn from as a freshman. When you get your opportunity, freshman, sophomore year, like, you got to be able to carry the torch. So that's what I kind of want for them.
Yeah, so when you look at it now, let's go back and now put yourself in their shoes. The 2001 national championship, University of Miami teams, you know, how would that have been with NILs? Cause you flashy, you outside, you gonna have fun. Would you have been able to maintain that same focus?
But I think it would have been even easier, because of our flashiness was so big, because it was off season, and it was us. It wasn't a me or a you. It was us. Anytime you seen the one of us, you seen a crew of us, you know, and everybody had kind of conquered the city. Dre had took over Houston. Tanner was doing his thing in New York. You and Reg was up in Indy. So Reg and E had New Orleans, you know, like we all had our territories where we can go kick it, and it was easy to move because someone else already ran that city. And for us, I think if you go back to that 2001 team, and all of us are sitting there and we're negotiating NILs. It's easy to say what I'm leaving school for, right?
You to stay a little longer.
Yeah, and right now, oh man, to go to University of Miami campus, I'm thinking 4 years, 5 years, and especially as a running back.
So you see, like, say you was in the position of, let's say, Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr., they say he had this big number to come back to school. And if you had an opportunity to say, I'm going to go back to school or I'm going to go to the NFL, what you'll do?
I'd have still been in school.
You would stayed in school?
Man, I'd have been in school. I have a big old O on my chest up there in Ohio State. I'd have stayed in school.
But I would have went to the NFL.
This is what I could say about Junior, right? It was nothing else for him to accomplish in college. Maybe a national championship, but if you don't feel like your team is going to win a national championship, you don't go back. And I left because we had won a national championship. So when we were in the locker room jumping around, it was nothing else for me to do. I wasn't thinking about, oh man, I want to be lean rush.
But that was saying you would stay.
Yeah, now I would.
Oh, you would stay because the NIL.
Yeah, you getting the same money.
Why do you play the game?
You play the game for an opportunity to go to the NFL.
And you got the opportunity. You right there, and you got everything that you want.
But the reason you wanted the opportunity to go to the NFL was to take care of your family. That was our reasoning because we didn't have
That's what I'm saying. You have it right there.
Now, Junior, his daddy taking care of the family. They already got it. So now if I can get me $8 to $10 million in college, what I'm going to leave for? Why put this pressure on a kid when you could stay and enjoy? You already got $8 to $10 million, and now you get to go to the league. I would stay.
I'm going, man. My goal is always to be one of the best.
We had to because of our family situations.
But
that's why we were out.
So, that's what I'm saying. You saying stay back for financial reasons when you just said that our family already straight.
Yeah,
but like what you gonna? It's like once you become the best of the best, like don't you want that?
You
challenge?
Want the challenge, you do. But still, when you got another lead dog that just came into Ohio State, can you imagine that duo? Could you imagine that combination? Like that's like Reggie and Tanner staying for Dre.
But I'm saying that waters down Dre's opportunity, and then also it's like. I get a chance to go to the NFL, and I get a chance to be a top pick. Like, this dude was the 4th pick.
This man going to be so stressed out this year. You're at that age, you're going to be so stressed out from the pressures that come with you having to carry Arizona. Arizona is not in position. They got a quarterback,
what's going to be the difference between next year and the year after when he comes? What's going to be the difference if you stay?
$10 million. It's a different stress level when you got $10 million in your account already.
Nah, but you're already coming from a financial stable situation.
I know, but when you got $10 million in your account, that's yours, not the stable situation of your dad. You got 10 M's. Stress is totally different. When you go and get this pick, say you end up in a situation like Chicago, a team that's building and already had the pieces in place, and they had the 1st and the 9th pick. You see what I'm saying?
I still go pro. I stick
around.
Yeah, I think we can agree to disagree on this one because. We both have different takes now. There's no right or wrong, but, that's why it's good to have a good conversation. Within the Create Life podcast, we always like to talk about mindset. And mindset, it applies to not only athletes, but people that's living everyday lives. And I think it's national news. Everybody know you had to go through a situation and you had to, stand up and be a man and deal with certain things that's unfortunate, but you had to go through those things. And when you see yourself going into situations that you're not used to as unfamiliar territory, how did you apply things that you have dealt with from a sports perspective to real life situation? When you say, okay, what was the mindset of a Clint Portis when he's having to deal with this unfortunate situation that he felt like he was done wrong?
So I think in life, man, we get dealt hands, and although we feel they're unfair, it's kind of one of those situations. it's here. You can't run from it. You can't duck it. You can't hide from it. It is what it is. To know the truth, I think to be a stand-up individual, for anybody who knows me, for anybody around me that know what I'm into, I think anybody around me would have said it wasn't CP, because when the numbers came out, you would say if CP involved in something, he gonna get a bigger portion than what that was if you know me. So I think for the situation, it was a lesson in life. It's kind of some of those situations where you have to listen to God. I think it's you got to grow as an individual, or you need to rest. You look at so many people and it's like they're not here, or the situation was worse. And I think for that bump in the road, I needed it. It's crazy to say, looking back at it, I needed that. I think I've been responsible for since 18, 19. You've been the breadwinner, the responsible. So to finally go in and sit down and just rest, you gotta call the people that you say, this is my circle.
Right.
You gotta reach out to them. They can't call you. People can't ask you for nothing. You can't do anything for anyone. It's just a moment to reflect. And, you got to find the positive in a negative situation. And I think for the clarity that came with it, to be able to stand firm, stand on who you are, to believe in what you believe in, to say, you know what, I'm a stand-up gentleman, because you could have easily created a false narrative, a story that, people would say snitch. But I knew nothing. To this day, I don't know anything. And I look at it as, okay, lesson learned. You just move forward. I don't think it's something that you continue to let hinder you. And I think for kids, or for anyone that's going through stuff, you use the stuff the way you want to use it. And everybody has setbacks in life. Some of the billionaires or millionaires, they have stuff going on.
Everybody got stuff going on.
Everybody got stuff going on. And I think it's so prevalent in today's world, where it looks like we're perfect. We're not perfect. Our families are screwed up. Our relationships are screwed up. We screw up the kids because of childhood trauma from us, whatever it is, man. I think it's just one of those situations where you have to grow as an individual. You have to listen to God at times. And then it's crazy to see the circle that you have around you. This is when you see who your true friends are. This is when you see who you can count on and who you can't, because everybody can count on you, but who can you count on? So when you get in that situation, man, it's unfortunate, but it's one of those, hold your head down, stay true to who you are, and come out of it. Don't let a bump in the road detour derail you. If we look at life from 20 to 30, I was the man, and 30 to 40, you dealing with shit. But you still got 40 to 50 and 50 to 60, however long you get to live and experience this life, where you're going to have a roller coaster ride. You try to not have those big drops and, the belly drops, but you're going to have the curves, the loops, the turns, the twists. And what it is just wait for it to straighten up,
So when you got that, so there's always going to be negativity. There's always going to be critics. And beyond your personal situation or a situation that's similar, there's always going to be things. Like, what advice would you give to a younger Clinton Portis, or a younger athlete that's about to enter this world or enter this space, knowing that these things are going to come? Nobody's going to duck it.
What I would tell anyone is, if you can avoid putting your hands on a woman, don't put your hands on a woman. Don't rape a woman. Don't beat a woman. Don't mess with no little kids. You got an opportunity to recover. So when you look at the situation, I think anything else can be forgiven, and people kind of give you a second or a third chance to get back. You don't want to have repetitive situations where you're asking for forgiveness. You gotta learn from them and build from them. But for a young person, don't let that moment derail you, because if you look at, like often you look at guys like a Jay-Z, right? If you go from Jay-Z first album to the growth of who he is as a man now, like it's been a huge change. It's been a huge growth. It's two different people. But for all the people who couldn't relate to who he was as a 19, 20-year-old child when he was running around or doing X, Y, Z, to the people who look at him as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as a leader in the community, you say that's not the same person. You can grow. Everyone grows. And you don't know what season you're growing in. You know, when you're in it, you never know. Like when you're in a storm, you don't know you in a storm. You know, like people don't come and say, hey, it's raining over your head, or it's a hurricane or a tornado beside you. You don't realize it until you come out of it. And I think that's with depression or anything else. We don't say, hey, man, I'm depressed. Hey, E, I'm going through something. Like, hey, E, my girl is mad at me. You don't call your partners and say that. But when you come out of it, it's a different conversation. So I think just to live, to see another day, to get through those situations, and again, not have repetitive situations where you're asking for forgiveness.
No, I think that's great. And it hits home because everybody going through a lot of the similar situations. You see it happen over and over again. But that's the beauty of having people like myself, yourself, and that's the purpose of the Creative Life podcast, because we want to bring attention to certain things, but everything positive, and finding the way. And obviously you found a way. And within finding the way, it's like, welcome back. My dog is back. CP had some of the greatest parties you can ever experience. And we travel a lot, so it's like now we can get back to traveling. You talk about those different experiences. It's like what was the dopest trip we've been on?
But look at why we started traveling. Think about that. Why did we start traveling? Why did we get to the point where we said, I remember when you first said, hey, CP, all right, man, we're gonna take us 3 trips a year. That's what we're gonna start doing. That's gonna be our thing. Them 3 trips turned from 3 trips a year to a trip a month. Like, hey, boy, let's go. Like, I'm out of here. But it was for unsaid, you dealing with business that might be slow. Me trying to get into business, whatever it is, it's a moment for us to go sit down with no distractions. Our phone don't work. That's the biggest thing. It was fun. Like we didn't have access. You don't have to run and solve this problem because we're away. And then this weekend of freedom is we get to talk, we get to kick it, we get to hang, we get to live, and then on the flight back, we like, man, boy, we needed that. It was a different convo compared to going. We not sitting on the plane like, hey man, I got this going on, it's bad for me, or I'm dealing with this. We going over here like, shit, boy, we need this getaway. Boy, I can't wait till we get here. Yeah. Let's go have some fun. Then we let our hair down, we have a good time. And especially when it came to the Canes trip, like when all the guys start going.
Everybody.
When you got 16 guys that link up one time a year, and for us to be able to piggyback from it, or for guys to be able to get together, like we need that. We need that safe haven. We need that peace. We need that vulnerability. We need to be around our partner so we can talk noise like we did in the locker room. We need to be around to hear what somebody else going through so you can say, man, you know what? That shit I'm dealing with ain't nothing compared to this. I think on some of these trips, who was it? Gerard?
Yeah.
Dealing with, like, that's health.
Yeah,
that's
real life situation.
That's real life. And, for some of the trips that we've been on, that it's not even how dope this trip was. It was just the fact that I still got a picture of us sitting on the beach. Like, I can still remember us taking the chairs to the water, putting the chairs here, and we sitting here like, what was it?
Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, weekend at Bernie's. We sitting here like weekends at Bernie's, and our chairs sinking into the water. Yeah. We just got our feet in them. Like, those moments are invaluable. Those moments are needed. Those moments are precious. So for us to be able to do that and then to be able to get back to it, it's like, and then when we come, we the life of the party, and not even trying to be. It's just the people that have a respect for us, or the people that's attracted to us, or even the people that's not, they say, you know what, them some good people. You
Yeah,
know,
they get a
like them
chance to
some
get to
good
know the
dudes.
person.
Like, yeah, like them dudes actually cool. They not on this Hollywood. They not on this I'm so and so. Like, man, this Edge and Earl. You know what I mean? This
Yeah,
Edge and
Edge
Earl
we had this
going through
moving
Howard.
company service.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So I
But
think the trips give us an opportunity to just bond, clear our head, and refocus. And you need that.
yeah, I think that's one thing that I've taken from it. You know, I think most people they need to get away, get step outside of where you at, what you've been doing, and then go experience another lifestyle or another way of living. Then you get a greater appreciation for the things you have. A lot of time when you go to those foreign countries or you go to those third world countries, you get a chance to see like, hey, man, I actually got it pretty good. But you need to see it, you need to feel it, and I don't think there's no feeling better than you actually feeling it, and somebody else telling you is one thing, but you actually get out there on your own and with your group, you know, that's a whole nother ball game.
You just said, like, what's the best trip we've been on? You know how hard it is for you being from Immokalee, Florida, for me being from Laurel, Mississippi, for us to go on a vacation, to go out to a club, and for you to be like, CP, we don't need to be like, boy, we don't need to be here. I'm uncomfortable. Like, man, somebody gonna stab us in the back. I'm like, these people don't know us. We don't have, but just to be in a country that we're on vacation, but we find the hoodest of hood clubs.
Like you just gravitate to that for some reason.
Bro, I'm
like
talking
why do we do that culturally? Why do we do that? Like
the first thing you say is, man, they ain't even pat us down when we came in. Now, anywhere else, if we're in Miami and they try to pat you down, that's disrespect to you. You're going to feel some kind of way. If we in the A, they pat you down, you're going to feel some kind of way. But we're in a third world country, and you say, man, they ain't even pat us down. Hell, they ain't patted nobody down over here. We're going to get stabbed in the back. Let's get out of here. Like, dog, what we going to do? Where we going? These people don't know us. We don't have any business. But, you know, those experiences.
When you're out of the country, I be on guard because you never know, man.
Yeah.
It's like you hear all those stories. Some people don't make it back, and you got to be on your A game because man, they be done buried you up in some bushes out there. You don't know nobody, know nothing. You know, anytime somebody come on, especially somebody that had success, you know, I'm always trying to give the viewers or give people that's paying attention a little insight into the mindset of people that have had success, have done what it takes, because there's so many people that wish they can have this opportunity or even be in this position. In saying that, you know, I always want to ask, what makes the great great from your point of view?
Consistency. I think for the greats were always consistent, and your recovery could never be multiple weeks for us. Like, you couldn't have 2-3 bad weeks in sports. You can't have 2-3 bad weeks in life, you know.
Right.
Like, that's when you realize, hey, I'm depressed or I'm dealing with something. So for us, I think the recovery to a bad game, like, no one had to tell you, like, Edge, dog, you didn't play good last week, you know. But
You felt it. You knew it.
You knew, like, dog, I left yards on the field. I didn't fall forward. I didn't keep my feet turning. Like, I had this opportunity. When you watching film, you see everything before a coach even tell you. When they start talking, you like, yeah, I should have straightened up my shoulders. Like, I should have pushed the power forward. I shouldn't have stepped out of bounds. I probably could have got 5 more yards. So the consistency in being able to coach yourself, the consistency in being able to understand, like, I can't have another bad week because these people are dependent on me, especially when, you know, for me, I think to go from Denver, where I'm like 14th, 15th on the totem pole, to go to D.C., where everything I do is magnified, was a situation you like, the consistency that I have is going to carry this organization. So when you look at games played, it didn't matter what my teammates done. Anything my teammates done was extra. Like, for me, anything my teammates done was extra. It was being able to self-correct, being able to be consistent, being reliable, being dependable, being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And I think so many people try to skip those steps. Like,
Right.
it's like, I want to be great, but you having consecutive bad showings, or you're irresponsible, or you're not taking responsibility, or you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Like a lot of people, the narrative would be CP didn't work out. Well, CP didn't lift upper body.
Right.
That's what CP didn't lift upper body. But it's nobody that we didn't cross paths with who had better lower body than CP. Like, or, oh man, CP was going out. CP wasn't drinking. Like, I pop in support. If you asking me to come somewhere, and Tanner asking me to come somewhere, and somebody else asking me to come somewhere, I'm like, damn, they need me there. I pop in for support. So it's a different thing when you're accountable and you have to be where you have to be. It's like you might hang out till 4:00 in the morning, but you go straight to the locker room to sleep on the couch. So you're where you're supposed to be. And I think when you put it all together, it's just that glitch of knowing, like, boy, I got something. And no matter who it is, what it is, like, I'm ready for any challenge. I'm ready for anything. I'm prepared for the curveball. I'm prepared for the fastball. I'm prepared for the underhand pitch. It's knowing that whatever situation it is, you got to out. Like, you're ready for it. You're prepared for it. And I think that's what kind of turned the key to take you overboard.
No, that's a good answer. And when you talk about people that is great, they actually have an answer. They have a solution. And they already see it before other people can even identify or tell them. They're actually willing to work on it. And when you start looking at the NFL nowadays, you're a running back, I'm a running back, and you look at these younger guys, who's your top backs?
It's hard. I like the kid. I like the kid in Miami, but he got to stay on the field. Christian McCaffrey, of course, is everyone's top back. He's in the same system that I was in, so I kind of see the play before it happened. Then you got the best left tackle in football in Trent Williams. You got a great system. So I think what Christian McCaffrey has left in the tank, the sky's the limit, because he's only going to get better in this system. The kid in Detroit, he's young, but I think he's gonna pick it up. Nick Chubb, I was beginning to love Nick Chubb game before he got injured.
Oh, yeah,
Like, to respect his game. Say, you know what, dog, he getting it. And I even like Jones. I'm shocked Green Bay moved on from him, but for him to go to Minnesota, I think it gives him another opportunity, because you got receivers, you got, you just go out and draft a young quarterback. So I think he's going to get more opportunity in Minnesota. So those guys, and the key to it is everybody I named kind of still get an opportunity to be an every down back.
All right. What do you think about JT with the Colts?
I don't think his body of work, he had a great year and then he's been hurt. So I think just reliability for him, because with Ant at quarterback, I think they have an opportunity. Now you got receivers. You're building something, but I honestly think, that holdout situation kind of put a strain between him and his teammates, because the other back was balling.
All right.
So the other back was balling. So to me, it's kind of like he got to regain his identity within that organization, because Ant is on the verge of taking over. So, for a running back, with the longevity of running backs, this might be his last year, depending on how they feel. So I would like to see more from him. I think he has the talent and the ability. Now it's just about being on the field, being available, and, like building a bond, like a 1-2 punch or a 1-2-3 punch for them, because they just re-signed Pittman. So I think they got guys locked in where they got the opportunity to build a 1-2-3 punch, and you need that.
What do you think about Ant? You think with the way Ant plays, and we already know the talent is there, we know that the potential is there. What do you think about guys like Ant with this new run pass option? What do you think about that? What do you think? How do you think that's going to affect them and affect organizations going forward?
You know, I look at Ant as I know the work that Ant puts in, but to see the play that he got injured on, like that's so flukish, you know. And for us, the hardest thing to do is start having nagging injuries early.
Right.
You know, like we had success in the league because our first couple years we didn't have to deal with it. We was available and we got grinding, we got going. And we were there. So a lot of these guys, you get hurt, and this is long, 17-week seasons, 18-week seasons. That's a lot of games. It's a lot placed on you. So the injuries are totally different because you're not hitting anymore. Like you're so fragile, you don't get a chance to get touched until Sunday. And then when you get touched on Sunday, it's like the slightest situation could hurt you. So I think the preparation is different. But if he can stay healthy, I think the sky is the limit. They go out and get him a receiver in the draft. You re-sign Pittman. You got JT. There's no distractions coming into camp. He should be healthy coming into camp. I think the sky is the limit, you know, because he is such a talent. And then you go and give him some speed so he can release that cannon. So I'm actually excited to see what that offense does. And hopefully he can stay healthy and you really get to see what he brings to a team.
All right, real talent, young talent, motivated, driven, and, you know, I'm always say the best organization in football, you know. But we got Clem Portis right here. You know, I appreciate you coming on Creative Life. We know this not the last time. We're going to keep this thing going, and we're going to spruce it up a little bit more going forward. But this is the intro, you know, Creative Life you want to live.